Greetings, fellow Earthlings. This is Dave with the podcast And Another Thing with Dave. Thanks for tuning in. I'd like to give a shout out to our listeners from out the world. We've got people in the UK, Canada, Romania, Australia, Ireland, Germany, the Netherlands, Sweden, and many more countries. 49 countries listening. Thank you very much. This is going to be a multi-part series on conspiracy theories featuring Cutting Up, Paul, Ascension T, and Professor Moneypenny from the Stereo app. Stay tuned as we get into it.
Man, cool and my friend, I had a show that was supposed to start at 9, but as you see, nobody else was able to join me, at least not just yet. That's why I just went on ahead and started the show. How you feeling tonight, man?
Awesome, man. Awesome. Hey, happy Saturday to you. And, I love the topic. I don't know, you and I are following each other, I think. And so conspiracy theory is pretty much my middle name, but I don't like to go out on the wire as far as like crazy ones, but there's so many that have been proven, right?
That much is very true because the thing was, conspiracy theories was like what I talked about towards the end of my show last night, but it
Mm-hmm.
was so like interested it was like interesting as hell. Like I even had somebody send a message in telling me that no plane hit a building on 9/11, and I have never heard that. But she was just making mention like that is the way that she felt.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, when it comes down to it, man, believe me, conspiracy theory is my middle name as well. And hell, that's why last night I went to sleep on it. But shit, I wanted to start off the talk tonight with conspiracy theory because I know it's a lot of conspiracy theories that people want to talk about, but they're just scared to talk about. Matter of fact,
Amen.
to get to get the talk started off proper, let me ask you, what's your favorite conspiracy theory?
Well, I would have to say 9/11 is my favorite because it led to everything that's going on right now. Never-ending wars. We spent $1 trillion in Afghanistan alone, 1 million dead people in Iraq, and for what? So we could take their oil? Like, are they any better than before we got there? Hell no. Women used to be able to vote in Iraq. Women could go to school. Women could drive. They had amongst the most rights of any women in the Middle East. We put an end to that. We put an end to that in a hurry.
Well, at the end of the day, see, I didn't even know about the women. Like the number
Yeah.
one thing that I will say is I agree with you because I know that when George W. Bush started this war, according to him, he started it because it was Iraqis that even did the bombing on 9/11. But yet, when more research was done, it was not even anybody from Iraq that actually was in the plane that was behind the suicide bombing. Nothing. But
Right.
um, like one of my favorite comedians said, America is some bullies. And I feel like the reason why we even started blowing up and killing folks in Iraq is because we knew that we could take Iraq over. I mean,
Hell
the
yeah.
one yeah, because the one thing that I say is that whenever America like tries to start war with somebody that they know they can't fuck with, that it is always a bad ending. And the number
Yeah.
one thing that I bring up is I just look at coronavirus, the way coronavirus hit the states and took the states over. Now, I'm not going to talk about politics, but me personally, I could not stand Donald Trump. Everything that that man said to me was like inciting violence and anger towards like somebody. And like
Racist,
even when
right?
he yeah, and like even
These
when he
immigrants
used
are rapists? Like, are you kidding me? You calling all immigrants rapists? Like that you got to be out of your mind. You're trying to get people to go kill those people. That's horrible. That's inciting violence, right?
yes, that much I 100% agree with, but I have met multiple people that they are Trump supporters, and even when I bring to them what Trump has said, the number one thing that multiple Trump supporters have told me, I never heard him say that. Word? You never heard Trump say that they're bringing drugs, they're criminals, they're rapists? You have never heard him say anything like off the wall like that? And hell, all I have is just a little it's a little cousin. Well, where I'm going with this is saying what he said about his daughter. Any man that is a father, or in my case, an uncle, we know never to look at our loved ones in a sexual matter. But hell, Donald Trump, he so ballsy, he even said, if she was not my daughter, I would marry her. Hell, that
Yeah.
fool talking incense. But once again, all them damn supporters, they just say, well, I
How
mean,
crazy is
Trump.
that? How crazy is that? Now, basically, what he's saying is if it wasn't his daughter, he would buy her because he bought Melania, right? Like he says America first, but he can't even get a wife here. All of his wives he bought like from foreign countries, right?
There you go. There you go. You were speaking on it. And matter of fact, I see we got one listener. So
Awesome.
I am just going to see if I can add onto the show some more people. But man, most def, we can keep talking about Trump because I can go
Heck yeah.
from September. Yeah, I can go from September to August talking about that fool. But hold on one second.
Yeah. Hey, people to listening, clap it up. That'll draw more people to the conversation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I just want to let people know I'm not a Biden fan either. I think both parties are full of shit and have sold us out to the corporations, right? Because the first thing people are going to say when I say I don't like Trump, they're going to be like, "Oh, well, Biden's this." I know. Biden's been in politics for 47 years and he's done nothing good except for write the Patriot Act, allow credit card companies to shelter their money in the state of Delaware, and I don't know what the hell else good he's done, but you know, he got the Iraqi war going and all that, right? Didn't he?
Yeah, that much is very true because I ain't even much gonna lie. The way that I feel about Joe Biden, the number one thing that I'm going to say about Biden is this. I would rather choose Biden over Trump any day because by the time Donald Trump left that damn seat as president, over 400,000 were dead in America from coronavirus. That is one thing that he never will be able to like talk his way out of. It just still blows my mind that so many people actually love and support that guy. It's just mind blowing. I swear to God, it is.
Yeah. You know what blows me away about people supporting him is it's mostly working class people that support him. What on earth has Donald Trump ever done for working class folk or poor folk? Are you kidding me? He appointed a bunch of billionaires to his cabinet. So he doesn't care about you. He just talks a really, really, really good game, but he doesn't care about working class people because you're not in his circle. Like his daddy gave him $200 million to start with. And then he went and filed bankruptcy like 4 times. So he's really not even a good businessman. He might have made money, but he screwed over everybody he's ever done business with, right? So in your mind, that might be successful. In my mind, having people hate me is not a good thing, right? I'd rather have less money and not have people hate me and want me dead, right? But that's just me.
Well, I mean, you're making sense. I swear to God, you're making all the sense in the world because I know that one of the people that I was calling was somebody that goes by Ascension T on the app. Well, Ascension T is a very strong Trump supporter. And the one thing that I constantly say to her is, what did Trump do that was so good that you wish he would have been president again? It just blows my mind. As a matter of fact, it looked like we even got a message. Oh, we cooking with gas already, my friend. Hold up.
Awesome.
Cutting up. Is that you, Kevin Samuels? Is that you, Kevin?
She's trying to go by birth names. You're like, I don't want you to know my real name. That's why I got a fake name.
Oh yes,
funny.
oh yes, shoot. I see she came in dropping real names. Well, and
But
that's what happened when we talk about Trump. And hell,
yeah,
I'm trying my best to see if I can add people to the talk, but that for right now it look like that they running. But back on
well,
the
people get scared of the facts sometimes, right? Because I want to just speak on that one thing you said real quick about what do Trump supporters say that they like about him when you ask them? Because when I ask, you know what they say? Well, he drained the swamp. Oh my God, he did not. He filled it to the point where it's overflowing. Do you know who he appointed to his cabinet? Let's start with the Secretary of State who decides where we go to war, right? Who decides where he sends our military. Do you know who that was? Mike Pompeo, the ex-head of the CIA, the guy that
Mm.
knows all the countries that have all the oil. So are you kidding? You put the fox in charge of the hen house. He's the last guy should be deciding where we go to war, right? Exxon is going to, or no, I'm sorry. He was the ex-CEO of Exxon. So the ex-oil company guy is deciding where the U.S. military goes to war, and he didn't even have to give up his stocks. So he got out of office. He's rich, right? So, and then Betsy
Exactly.
DeVos, in charge of the school department, her whole career was trying to destroy public schools, and she's heavily invested in school debt collection. Then you got Scott Pruitt, the head of the EPA. For 15 years before Trump appointed him to head of the EPA, he had been trying to destroy the EPA so that corporations didn't have to do clean air and clean water stuff. So, and then you got Scott Acosta or Bob Acosta, I can't remember. Trump appointed this guy. This was the DA that was found guilty in the first Epstein trial. He appointed him Department of Labor. The guy had never worked in labor before. He was a district attorney.
Well,
So
when it comes down to it, see, the number one thing that I respect about you, you are speaking facts. And the number one thing that I have said is that if Barack Obama would have did or said one of the things that Donald Trump did, then he would have been the most hated president ever. I
dude,
got
he would have
sick
been
and tired.
shot.
That,
He would have gotten shot. I'll say it.
it, I mean, it don't get no realer. It don't get no realer than that. I swear to God, it don't. And
Right?
matter of fact, let me see. It looked like on that she sent another message in. Hold on one second. Let's see what she's saying.
I love
Yeah.
Trump. He kept inflation away. He incited a little racism, but outside of that, he was a pretty good president. And it was so fun to have him do something new each week. Biden is boring. Boring.
Okay, I gotta speak to that because I've heard this one too. Well, what do you like about Trump? Oh, the economy. Dude, the president doesn't have jack shit to do with the economy. She said inflation. That's the Federal Reserve that decides the rate of inflation, the interest rate, and that's all part of how much money they print and put into circulation. So the thing that kills me about Trump supporters when they say, I love Trump, first of all, you should never love a politician because they're lying, two-faced bastards. I don't care what party they're in. Never love them. Hold them to task. You're their boss. Never forget that. Right? So inflation? No, man, that's the Federal Reserve. Look it up. Look it up. And this is what kills me about Trump supporters. They'll say stuff like this, but they won't just make 3 clicks with their mouse and do a little bit of research so they can actually learn. Like, damn, the president doesn't affect the economy at all. Some bills that he passes might favor certain parts of the economy, but he doesn't pass financial legislation. That's the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve is controlled by for-profit banks. All the biggest banks, they control the Federal Reserve. It started in 1913. And it's a crime cabal. Look it up.
Yeah, and I mean, I just do not understand how people.
Hold on for a second.
Oh, okay. Really?
She's in and out.
Well, since she said hold on for a second, I'm pretty sure that she's going to call back in later.
She's trying,
And yeah, and like the one thing that I'm going to say is that I got sick and tired of hearing his supporters say that President Trump was very presidential. That don't make no sense to me. He's supposed to be presidential. You know why? 'Cause he's the president. Hell,
Right. But he
that's
wasn't presidential. Inspiring hate is not presidential. He's supposed to be the ultimate diplomat. He's supposed to try to get along with everybody. Yeah, he didn't do that at all. He's supposed to be like a good salesman, and he's not even that. What happened to the
exactly.
wall? What happened to the wall?
Please
What
don't
happened?
read.
What happened to the caravan of people of those drug addicts, rapists, and people that
Excuse
we're going to
me. Excuse me.
invade?
Excuse
You're
me.
in. Welcome.
Guys, how are you guys?
Welcome. I was just trying to
Hey,
finish
No,
a sentence.
no bite talking. Please don't talk bad about my Trump. I love Trump. Not today. Or else there's going to be a fighting match here. You ready for the gloves? To
girl.
put on the gloves? Let's go.
Check yourself.
well,
Don't love any
it co-
politician.
when it comes,
I'm just messing with you guys.
when
And
when
another
it comes,
thing is,
yes,
I'm just
I,
fooling around.
Welcome.
yes,
Thank you,
because
darling. Thank you, darling.
Yeah.
this is one of the people that I was calling trying to get up on the panel because the one thing that I give to Ascension T, she knows that me and her are like night and day concerning Donald Trump. She has respect for him. In her words, he is 74, but he has the stamina of a man in his 50s. So
25,
I,
honey. 25. He got the
Can I
energy
tell
of a
you why?
25.
Can I tell you why? He's been on Adderall for years, and Adderall is basically the same as crystal meth, but it's prescription.
He doesn't do drugs. Donald Trump
He does.
does not
He's been on
use
Adderall.
drugs.
Check it out.
Have
Google
you
it.
slept
He's
in the
been on
same bed with him?
Adderall.
Do you live in the same household with him?
Melania doesn't even sleep in the same bed. But
Are you in the same? Do you walk with him? Are you with him every single day? You're
but
making these
check
claims as
this
if
out
you're
though.
around him every day. Are you his
I read
Secret
a re-
Service agent?
I read a
Are you his Secret
report.
Service agent?
I don't
Are
spend
you a
time with
family
him
member?
personally.
Okay,
I
you
read
have
a
nothing to
report.
say here.
I read a report
Anybody
of
can
one of
write a
his
report
aides.
about anybody. Doesn't mean it's true.
Okay, hold up. Talking about something factual. So one of his aides,
No,
one
you're
of the
talking
people
about
that
opinion,
presents,
not a fact.
no, one of his aides that presents him with his daily briefing leaked
Mhm.
to the press that unless they put his name in every paragraph, he can't even read a whole page because he can't focus that long. That is a stereotypical effect of doing speed, being scatterbrained,
Well,
not being able to focus.
well, that's me then. That's me, and I don't do speed. So what's your claim here?
Okay.
What's your claim here? I have the
That's
same
it.
issue.
And it's
uh,
not, it wasn't my
It could
claim,
just
like I
be
said.
that's the person. Well, I'm just saying I'm the same
Uh,
way. Doesn't mean I take Adderall. So what is my excuse?
well,
That's
that
that's what you
actually,
call that's what you call a false equivalency. Because he does something
I'm asking you a
doesn't mean
question, sir.
you need to be doing
What
the
is
same
my
thing, right?
excuse? If
We
the
weren't
same
talking
effect
about you.
happens to me, does that mean I take Adderall? Is the question, sir.
That's
see,
called
that's
a false equivalency. That's comparing apples and
How is it a
oranges.
false equivalency if I'm
Because
getting
we
the
weren't
same
talking
effect?
about you. We weren't talking about you.
Oh,
That's
so
how.
is it the subject matter
so,
or the effects of the drug that we're talking about?
see, that's another thing that
Both.
Trump supporters will do. They will say dumb shit like, "Are you around him?"
Excuse
Do
me. Excuse me. Excuse
what?
me.
That is
I haven't said
very.
anything dumb. No,
Yes,
no,
I
no,
was
no,
you
no,
talking
no,
have.
about
no,
I was
no,
talking
no,
about
no,
what a
no, no, no.
reporter
Not
I was
today.
talking
Not
about
on my watch. It's 9
I was
o'clock. Okay,
I
you're
was
not gonna
talking
say
about
what
what
I'm
a
saying
cabinet
is
member
dumb.
said.
I
I
asked
was
him
saying
several questions. He said no. I said, "Is he a family member of Trump?" He said no. I said, "Are you his
not,
Secret Service
but
agent?" He
that's
said
got
no.
nothing to do
I
with
said, "Are you a
anything.
private investigator?" No. Have you been around a Trump? No. How do you know these things? I read it somewhere. You know how many false claims you can read on a newspaper
Girl,
or some article?
girl,
That's just
girl.
someone's personal
Instead of
opinion
telling
cutting
me
it up.
what,
So
instead,
how is that
hold up,
stupid? If somebody wrote something false about you
hold
in a
up,
newspaper, as they always do in an Inquirer, would you believe everything somebody writes? Is the question.
hold up, right? And instead of
And
dissing the
another thing
information that
is,
I got, why don't you Google it and decide for yourself? Because here you're
what is it?
arguing against something, but you haven't even read the facts. So
Why
read
would
what I'm
I? Why would
talking
I
about,
go Google a paper
then
that
decide.
somebody wrote? Why would I go Google a paper that someone wrote?
Why would I
Why
read a
would you?
book that somebody wrote?
Everybody writes stuff.
Why would
Doesn't
I
mean
read
it's
a
factual,
newspaper that
dude.
somebody
I
wrote?
would rather hear somebody who
Listen to you.
actually lives with him, who
So,
actually knows him, have a personal relationship, and not read it in some
that,
damn newspaper where it can be
You,
fabricated and made
that,
up.
that's
you
the
think his
thing.
family
Hello?
members? You think his
There,
family members are going to tell you the truth more than a reporter?
I'm talking about
You're
somebody that's
funny.
with him. A reporter
You're
is not
funny,
with him 24/7. A reporter is just a reporter. It can
dude.
write anything. The Inquirers.
I
You
just
think the
I
Inquirers
just
are always
told
correct,
you.
sir?
I just told you this was by one of his aides who presents him with his daily briefing, and he said unless we
And you
put his
think
name in it,
is
he
she still
can't
his
read the
aide?
whole page.
Is she still his aide?
Why are you arguing instead of just looking it
I'm
up to
asking you a
decide if you
direct
agree or
question.
not?
Is she still his aide?
No,
Yes or
you
no?
just. How do you know it's a
I'm
she?
asking
You
a
just want
question.
to
It's
argue.
just a question.
See,
Another thing
typical
is, it's just
Trumper.
a question.
there you
Typical
go.
It's just a
Trumper.
question. Is she
Redirection.
still his aide? Is she still
Who is
his
she?
aide? Because
Who
if
is
you notice
she?
this about human nature, the
You
moment they
created that it's
leave
a
you,
she.
that's when they talk
It's a
bad
he.
talk about the
It's
person,
a he.
whether
You
it's true or
created
not.
that it's a woman
That's just what
because you're not
happens with
listening.
humans. You guys do that.
You,
The moment you leave a relationship, you talk bad
you're
about
not
the
a
other
human?
person.
You're not a human?
That's
You guys
I
do
don't
that?
do that, but
You're not human?
people that are not sensible do that. Seems like you
Wait a
would do that because you would listen to an aide that left his building that's no longer there. She must have got fired or
How do
something
you
happened to
know?
her because
You
now she's
created
writing a story
that
where
too.
it's supposed to be confidential. When you work in the White
You
House,
cre-
everything should be confidential. You're not supposed to be
you
sharing shit
created
with
that
nobody.
too. You
So
created that the
that
person
is
was a woman.
complete
You created
fabrication,
that the
and I'm
person
not
left the
listening
White
to it.
House. You can't even Google something. You're going to create what it is, right? You just told me it's a woman and that they
That's
no
what
longer
news
work there.
reporters do. They create.
How do you
Some of
know
that
this
stuff are
person doesn't
created.
still work at the White House? How do you know that?
I
You just
asked you a
made that up.
question. You couldn't answer it. I asked you, is
You
she
made up
working
the answer. You made up the answer.
If she's still working
Listen to
there, there's
you.
no way she should be talking bad about her
It's
president.
not a
That makes
she.
no
It's
sense.
not a she. You made that up
You kept
too.
saying she. You say her his aide. You say her
No, I
aide.
said his aide.
His
You
aide.
think an assistant has to be a
Okay,
female? Are
whether
you
it's
sexist?
she, he, doesn't matter
Are you
about the
sexist?
pronoun.
Yeah,
It
it
doesn't
does. It
matter
does.
about the pronoun.
It does. It's
Why does it
respect. It
matter?
does. It's
Well,
respect.
Well,
It's a
you can
matter of
say,
respect.
okay, what is it? Is it a
well,
she or a he?
well,
It's a
well,
person.
well, as you see, man, we kicking
It
with
doesn't
gas
flipping
talking
matter.
about
It
that
doesn't flipping
orange-haired
matter.
idiot. So
Right.
hold on one second. Like
Right.
we got like 6 messages. Hold up, let me run through the messages real
Think
quick.
about Biden's new rule with the $600. If I go out and cut grass, I gotta now pay 600 taxes on $600.
Exactly.
That's what he's wanting to
Go
do,
ahead
which is
with
really
that.
weird.
They think Biden is doing better.
I love me some President Trump. Mr.
Oh my
Trump, my
God.
darling, my sweet darling. Where are you, Mr. Trumpy Trump?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I
You
know
know
your
where
Mm-mm.
Mr.
husband
Trump
don't
is.
like that.
Tonight.
Hey, and another thing, who was in our panty dropping room yesterday? And hey, Ascension T. Hey, Azoin. You're back on conspiracy theories tonight? Yes,
Mm-hmm.
last night's show was awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm here and the
Yes.
listeners listening.
I got
I'm
home
just
Ye-
around
listening
like
tonight.
what
I'm
2 o'clock.
listening.
Tired.
Yes. And black is love. I just want.
I
What are y'all
apologize.
Much love.
hollering about?
Way too early.
I'm just kidding. What's up? I'm just
They're saying
listening.
Biden is a better president than Trump.
No,
They're
you
they're
just said
here.
that. You said that
Oh, Cutting
before
up
you
said
got
that.
in the
Cutting
room.
up said that.
Before you got in the room, I said I don't like either one of them. So check yourself.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
What
I'm
when it
talking for cutting it up. Cutting it up said that. I'm not talking about you,
what
Mister Another
well
Thing. Since you're so
well when it
spicy today, you want
when
some
it
hot
comes
sauce,
down
honey?
to it, the number one thing that I will say is Biden is way better than Trump because a lot of people are talking against the vaccine, but Donald Trump said out of his own mouth, and it is on video, that if a
Mm-hmm.
vaccine comes out, it's because of me. So I'm willing to bet my last dollar if Donald Trump would have won the presidency that he lost fair and square. I'm sick and tired of people always saying, well, this person said that they were throwing Trump votes away. Where is the evidence? I'm sick and
No
tired of
proof.
always hearing
No proof.
about. Exactly. I'm sick and tired of how this person or that person came
Hey,
and
Mr. Rose, how you doing, love?
Captain, I
Good
just
to
left a message
have you
for you.
here.
Hi, everyone.
uh,
Hi, Cutting Up.
hey, hey, what's
And
happening?
another
Hello,
thing,
Tuda. How you doing, sir? How you
pretty
doing,
good,
sir?
pretty good.
Greetings.
I'll tell you what was in my message if you want to spare it. But you can play it if it's better if you play it, maybe.
I
Oh,
I did
we don't
I
see a
don't
message
even
by you.
see that you
Yeah,
sent a
you didn't leave a
message.
message here.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I just finished it when you called me up, Ascension.
What did it say? Because we don't have it here.
Wow. Okay, basically it says that I was going to caution the panel to being involved in a dog and pony show. The dog and pony show is an intentional distraction. They're trying to
Okay.
come on, guys. We're smarter than this. We're a fifth into the 21st century, and really, the best choice we could come up with is Biden. Really, the best
what
choice we can come up with is Trump, and the best news we can come up with is
Well,
to
that's all
talk
we
about
got
either
now.
one of them. It's ridiculous. That's why our two-party system and SCOTUS has failed us. Now, what do I mean by that? If you
Amen.
guys remember, do you remember? You remember when Donna Brazile, this is a black woman now,
Yeah, I
not
remember
that
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 lady from
matters. She got
CNN.
caught
She lied.
stealing. She got caught stealing, and they keep putting her on TV. Now, if you or I did something like that, we'd be censored for life. We'd never be able to work
Hmm.
in
She
broadcasting
even wrote a
again. Are you
book.
kidding? How do you get past that? Nobody should be able to
Right.
get past that kind of theft. Now, it was a WikiLeaks that discovered that. Basically, for those who don't know,
I
she
love
got caught
WikiLeaks.
funneling secret questions from a
Yep.
To
secret
Hillary.
adversary to Hillary. It's just no excuse for that. There's also no excuse. I heard um, Obama today talking about Trump. And he was right about most of what he said, but he said, blah, 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 threaten our democracy. How many times have I said that we don't live in a democracy? These people think we're all stupid. This is
Yep.
not a democracy, nor has it ever been a democracy. Somebody was going to come up and say, well, it's a Democratic Republic. No, it's not. There's no such thing. If you don't vote for law, it's not a democracy. This is a republic. But they think we're all stupid. And so they keep with the da 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 da. It's a little show for us so we can be distracted. The argument should never be between Biden versus Trump. The argument should be what happened to our rights to run the country. Less than 600 people run this country, and we have lost control of them. Well, why do you say that, Ellie Tudor? We have no term limits,
Well,
and we have unlimited funding for reelection. That's it. It doesn't make any difference what we say.
well,
Paul, would you believe anything you read in a newspaper? Because apparently another thing reads everything. He think it's pretty much everything is true in a newspaper that he read. Do
I,
you
I
read
believe,
everything and take it for
I
face value?
believe, I believe a lot of what I read, and the reason is because one of the few things we have left is the First Amendment, and that's free press. So if the press lies about something and it's found out, the rest of the press is going to gang up on them to fix it and call them
That's
out
right.
because it's a
Yeah,
competitive
but
industry.
that's not true. That's false.
Now,
It
hold
is
up a
true.
Because
second.
there has,
You haven't read the
especially during
first. You haven't.
campaign. No,
Hold
especially
up a
Well,
during
I
second.
know that it's
campaigns.
not always true, but
Okay,
they
okay.
have considerable resources to come to bear.
I need to defend
You know,
myself. I was just accused of reading newspaper. I don't read the mainstream press because all the mainstream press, whether it's TV, radio, or newspapers, are owned by 6 corporations. Okay. So I
Okay.
get my information from independent investigative journalists like Greg Palast, who is the one that broke the story that no, Trump didn't lose the election. As a matter of fact, the Republicans were busted for kicking millions of people illegally off of the voting rolls, and they were forced to put a bunch of them back on. This is proven. Greg Palast, Palast, on YouTube. Check it out.
and the
that's
one
probably
thing,
too. That's probably too much for most people to digest. It's just
Yeah,
too
totally.
granular.
Truth. Yep.
Yeah, but he said
yeah,
this President Trump's.
All right, thanks for tuning in to another episode and another thing with Dave. Please follow, subscribe, and share. I'm on all social media and another thing with Dave. And keep seeking the truth.